You drive your car or truck every day, but do you ever stop and wonder where this amazing invention came from? The Huffington Post stated on August 23rd, 2011, that any given time there are 1 billion cars on the road. Cars are everywhere, but most people don't know who invented them. After my speech, you'll know more about the invention of the wheel, the invention of the first gasoline-powered car, and the many uses of cars today. We wouldn't have vehicles today if it wasn't for the invention of the wheel. LiveScience.com posted an article on March 2nd, 2012, saying that wheels seem like a simple concept, but in fact they are so complicated that it took until 3500 BC for someone to invent them. The tricky thing about wheels isn't how to make it round enough to roll right, it's how to make it a stable platform in the middle of the wheel. The ends of the axle and the holes in the middle can't have any bumps, they have to be perfectly smooth and round. If there will be too much friction and the wheels won't turn. The size of the axle is also very important. A thick axle will cause too much friction, while a thin axle will be too weak and it'll break. Although the wheel was invented in 3500 BC, it wasn't until about 1885 when the type of vehicle we have come to know and love was invented, the gas-powered car. According to LOC.gov, an article from July 29, 2011, stated that Carl Benz invented the first gas-powered vehicle. The first version of his car was a 3-wheeled, 1-cylinder, 2-stroke unit. Carl completed this car a few years later by replacing the 2-stroke engine with a 4-stroke engine. The details included an automatic intake slide, a controlled exhaust valve, water thermal siphon evaporation cooling, and the engine produced 0.75 horsepower, and the top speed was 10 miles per hour. Here is a picture of the first. In 1888, Carl's wife Bertha took the car out for a 180-kilometer trip with her 2 sons. Their trip proved the potential of the vehicle and made Carl's automobile business one of the largest of its day. Over 100 years later, cars have become even more popular. Without cars and trucks, the world wouldn't be able to function as it does today. The Hub page posted on March 1st, 2010 states that people use cars to commute to work, go to school, travel, and run errands. Cars are used to get people from A to B when it's not practical to walk, whether it's to work, school, or to the grocery store. The Atlantic.com reported on February 6, 2013, that in busy cities, Americans spend an average of 36 hours a year just in traffic. DC is worse, with 67 hours a year. Many people also drive cars just for the feeling to be free. In the survey that I conducted for this class, about half my participants like to drive if they can do it at their own pace. One of my participants even likes to drive up to 100 miles a night. Are commonly used to distribute goods across the country. According to truckinfo.net, an estimate of 15.5 million trucks operate in the U.S. to distribute goods. Over 15.5 million trucks work together to distribute as much as 70% of goods in the U.S. Cars are everywhere, but most people don't know who invented them. I hope that by listening to my speech, you learned a little more about where the wheel came from, who built the first gas-powered car, and modern uses for cars. The next time you drive a car, make sure to thank Carl Benz for the invention he left us.